What's going on, everybody? Today we have a very interesting video in store, but before we get into that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. We'll be discussing gaming problems and their possible solutions, starting with the most prevalent problem with major gaming companies as of right now: microtransactions. Now, don't get me wrong, I fully understand the gravity of making money and how money affects the quality of the games that we consumers are receiving. But over the past few years, even a blind man can see that microtransactions are starting to become a poison within gaming. The biggest issue with microtransactions is the fact that they are no longer being seen as an option to enhance the gamer's experience. Now they are merely a necessity in the games that we enjoy today. Yes, we are still able to play the game without spending extra money on in-game purchases, but we are at a greater disadvantage than those that do spend money on it. I fully believe that while microtransactions have been out since 2006 with the release of Horse Armor in the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, Fortnite is the true culprit to blame for this outlandish rise of microtransactions. In 2018, it was reported that Fortnite made over $1 billion in microtransactions alone, and since then they have made close to $20 billion in revenue, and 77% of players in the USA have spent money on Fortnite. Other companies may have seen this and used this as a way to justify the gross malpractice of microtransactions. The major difference between Fortnite and these other companies is that Fortnite on release, and still to this day, is free to play. The microtransactions in Fortnite also didn't provide a competitive edge in how the game was played. The most popular basketball game franchise, NBA 2K, has recently been abusing its monopoly, which we will discuss later, and discreetly raising VC prices. I don't want to dive too deep into this subject, as this has already been fully explained by the YouTuber of the name Agent 00, and I will leave his channel link in the description down below. The problem with this is the fact that VC isn't purely used for cosmetic purposes like V-Bucks. It quite literally makes the game pay to win in the earlier stages, which makes it to where the consumer feels that if they want to have even the slightest chances of having an enjoyable experience on the game, they are required to spend extra money even after the initial purchase of between $70 to $130, which is crazy. This is a very big issue within the gaming industry. The next major issue that we will be discussing is community complacency. In recent years, we've seen gamers just go with the flow and accept the bullshit that these major companies have been pushing out instead of actively speaking out and protesting it. We constantly see a decrease in game quality if the game is run by a monopoly such as NBA 2K, Madden, UFC, so on and so forth. But there are consumers out there that just accept what they can get, and that is a very dangerous mindset to have for gaming, because remember, we are the consumers. We, in all reality, run the show. The minute we act against them and they see huge decreases in sales, they will bend to our needs. Protesting is a widespread practice throughout time, and when it is used effectively, it successfully gets the little man's point across. In this scenario, it is us. We are the little man. Gamers out there keep buying games overrun by monopolies with the hope of the game getting better, when in reality it isn't going to happen unless we take action and make them have an incentive to make the game better for us. Every year since 2K17, players constantly see a quality decline, and it is a cycle of fake hope. The best way to explain my point: 2K20 during its runtime, it was literally regarded as one of the worst 2Ks of all time, and as the years pass, we now see 2K20 regarded as an all-time great. It isn't because we didn't appreciate the quote-unquote art of 2K20, it was simply a worse game than 2K19, but now that we've seen much worse games, such as 21 and 22, we look back and see how much better we had it back then. These corporations are preying on your hope for a fully functional and fun game, and in all honesty, I don't see it getting any better at this rate, because I guarantee the majority of the 2K community that said that they were going to quit playing the game have already purchased their Championship Edition 2K23 copies, with the expectancy of a good game, when in all reality we will just see a repeated cycle of the honeymoon phase to the then realization that it is a terrible fucking game. I hate to speak on this in such a negative light, but while this has helped many people improve their lives, it is truly a double-edged sword. Competitive gaming, and no, I do not mean ranked modes in games. I am referring to esports leagues and professional players, etc. With the new generation of gaming, seeing that the only way to get exposure on a video game is to be the best and do whatever it takes to win, leads to a very wash, rinse, repeat style of player. In all honesty, I am still just a teenager, so I believe that the best era of gaming was the early 2010s. Even though there were major issues with online quality, obvious things such as frame rate difference and resolution, I truly had the most fun during this time, because it wasn't about who was the best. It was genuinely about having fun while playing a game that you loved. I don't know. Most people may say this take is just because of nostalgia and I'm just getting older, but with all due respect to that, I say you are wrong. I am a very competitive individual, so I understand the desire of winning. But with the quality of games decreasing and the players that want to do anything to win imaginable, you see people latch onto whatever broken game mechanic they see and exploit their way to the top, and they are proud of it. Which is crazy, because most of the time the gamers exploiting these mechanics aren't even necessarily profiting from it. They aren't gaining fame or money like expected. They are just a parasite to the games themselves. Another problem that is caused by gamers themselves is the amount of toxicity. And I mean, we all love to, trash talk. That's okay. That's completely fine. Even I can admit myself, I have called a couple people's mothers some crazy insults. But I mean the overbearing toxicity, the stream sniping, the swatting, things of that nature. We always wonder why content creators with sizable audiences tend to have mental breakdowns. But if you actually look at content creation / streaming for what it really is, you can fully understand why people are burnt out by toxicity so easily. Streaming and content creation is not a cheap hobby. It's a commitment that is also quite costly if you are dedicated to growing. I don't even mean in a monetary sense either. You are sacrificing a lot when you commit to streaming. Yes, it's true that you make your own schedule, but to see actual progress, you have to put your all into this. There's no shortcut you can take either. You go for it or you don't. You give up your time, your social life, your privacy, damn near your soul, trying to please your fans. But the minute the fans are unhappy with you, they will turn on you in the sickest, cruelest ways imaginable. And yes, I can agree, some streamers have grown themselves off of being toxic in a sense I don't agree with the narrative of, if you can't take it, don't dish it out, because that creates windows of opportunity for people to make blatant false equivalencies. What I mean by that is, for instance, IShowSpeed. He has grown like crazy over the past year off of a toxic persona he has made on 2K and other games. But that toxicity has been limited to, quote-unquote, shit-talking, while his fans take it to crazy extremes. They have recently swatted him. In the past, they have leaked his family's information, his personal information, even though those same people say that they love him. I know it sounds like I'm getting off topic, but it all ties back to gaming and gaming culture. The newer age of gamer is easily way more disrespectful than the days of old. And at the top, people don't like humble heroes. People are obsessed with the villain. So as a gaming content creator, you constantly see people overlap you with toxic behavior, and you get tired of being placed on the sidelines. So you fall into the trap of villain mentality, which is widespread in the media that we consume today. And I'll be discussing that in another video. And with that being said, this may end up potentially being the problem on this list with no real resolution. Unfortunately, a major problem that we are facing as of right now, August 9th, 2022, is the gaming drought. Compared to the other problems, this is very minute and can be easily fixed, but I still feel that it was necessary to speak on. Remember how hyped everyone was for Sifu? Looking back at it, the hype probably wasn't even warranted. It was mainly due to the fact that we haven't had a good quality play for so long. Even the bare minimum crumbs looked like a potential masterpiece. Listen, Sifu fans, I'm not saying the game was purely bottom of the barrel, but the fact that people were putting it in combos such as the game of 2022 is insane. When we finally take off our rose-colored glasses, it is a 6 or 7 at best. When we as gamers and consumers have nothing to look forward to, even the most average quality game can be seen as a great game, which ties back to complacency issue I was discussing earlier, but I digress. This is the most important part of the video, the light at the end of the tunnel, the possible solutions. Most of the issues I spoke on today have some solutions, but they aren't quite simple because it takes the entire community of gaming to get behind them. The solution to microtransactions and lowered game quality: we need more indie game developers to step out and fight against major corporations. As you may watch this, you may be thinking, oh yeah, that's so easy to just get up and design a game. But listen, I know it's easier said than done, but look at the results it gives us in the hypothetical long run. We will see competition in the gaming industry, and as consumers that is absolutely perfect, because not only do you have options, but you see these big money-making powerhouses actually put some effort into the game they make, which means they will listen to the community much more, and prices of microtransactions will eventually decrease with the rise of competition. Because as a company, they will see people gravitate towards the cheaper, consumer-friendly option, but if they bend to our needs, the sales will stay the same or even increase. The solution for toxicity is non-existent, at least to me. I know I can speak all the be nice to people, show love, blah blah blah, but that is one goal I see on this list that is unattainable because humans are just wired and geared off negativity, and I will cover that in my villain mentality video. And now we have come to the end of this video. I love each and every single last one of you that stays to the point in this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment your own possible solutions to these problems.